In today's episode of Not Nice Clever, we are giving you the lowdown on Mel Robbins' morning routine, what we thought about it, how we used it or didn't use it, especially with Rule 1, which we will get into soon enough. But Mel is somebody that Candace and I both look up to. We both really appreciate all of the content that she puts out. And you have heard us talk about morning routines before and the importance of starting your day off right so that you can finish off right. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. If you haven't heard it before, all good. We'll give you our takes on it, and then you can go and listen to the full episode after this. So, Candace, Mel Robbins' morning routine, where are we starting?
Well, I watched the full YouTube video that's like, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour
Mhm.
about how Mel Robbins starts the day. And I thought it would be great if you and I both implemented it and tried it out. And so, what I love about her morning routine that is really a game changer, and you guys have heard us talk about this before, but don't touch your phone first thing in the morning.
Like, just don't.
Just don't do
Don't.
it, and it's such a challenge. It's a challenge for me, even though
Ditto.
I know when I don't do it, things are better.
So much better.
So much better. I still sometimes struggle with it because I'll just be like, "Oh, but I just need to tell Kat this one thing," and then I'll get off of it. But I know if I pick it up to tell you something, there's also all the notifications that I'm gonna see. Yes, and I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole, and I'm gonna look up, and
Mhm.
it's gonna be 37 minutes later, and I don't that's a huge thing that she talks about for, like, a great majority of the episode that I was listening to her podcast episode
Mhm.
and watching it on YouTube. And that was, like, a huge thing that she harped on for a while, which I know means that we're not alone in this, cat, that people also
No.
struggle with their phones. So, a
Mm.
couple things that I did was I just put my phone, um, inside my nightstand drawer
Oh,
and kinda, like, closed it, and I usually keep it on top, but if I keep it in
same.
my drawer,
Mhm.
it feels a little bit like
Out of sight, out of mind.
yes, exactly, it's more put away, right? And so what I did instead was what Mel suggested was get up when your alarm rings, but actually for me, I know people are gonna find this annoying. I don't use an alarm ever. I have an
Okay.
internal alarm.
Okay, Candace. You can just relax. You didn't have to wake up and choose violence today.
But that's number
Okay?
1 is to get up with as soon as your alarm rings, but for me,
Unless you're
I just don't have one.
superhuman. Yeah,
It's because I taught middle school for so long, remember that.
that's true.
So,
That's true.
my body is just, like, used to getting up and being at school at a certain time, and
Mhm.
so my body just wakes up every day before 7.
I am I am in awe because I'm a snooze sleeper. The
Mhm.
first step to solving a problem is admitting you have one, and I'm a snooze sleeper. I do not get up at the first alarm ring. Now, here's what I did differently that has helped me, and maybe it'll help those of you in the audience because I found you're either a snooze sleeper or you get up at the first ring of your alarm, or you're superhuman like you, Candace, and you have an internal alarm. I made sure that the doors, we have barn doors that look out to our floor to ceiling windows in our apartment. And I made sure that those doors were open so that when the sun rose, I'd be getting that natural light in. And it
Mhm.
would kind of like help cue my body to wake up together with my alarm going off. And instead of hitting snooze 4 times, I only hit it twice,
Yeah,
which is progress. So,
progress. Wow.
right.
Okay. So, I do, for clarification, need to set an alarm if there's something out of the ordinary, like if I have to get up at a different time, if I'm traveling, things like
Yeah,
that, right? But at
for sure.
home, I just don't.
Hmm.
Um, okay, the second thing that she says is once you wake up, hopefully without pushing snooze, you still haven't checked your phone. You're gonna make your bed immediately.
Hmm.
I like that she also put a caveat in there if your like spouse is still in bed, just to like make your side look neat. Like leave them, but like
Yeah.
just tidy up your side.
Because that will always be me. Like with Will working in hospitality as a chef, very rarely does he get up before me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sets the tone for the day because you've kind of already accomplished something before you've even left your bedroom. And that has been really helpful. The funny thing was, though, one morning, I don't know, Dom and I think we went on a walk, and he was working late that day, so he was planning on, like, hopping back in bed when I was gonna start work, but the bed was
Uh-huh.
already made, so he was like, "You kinda ruined my morning by making the bed." I'm
Or
like,
maybe you
You still
saved
coulda
him.
got back in bed if you
Right.
wanted to."
But it's funny
He
how
was like,
powerful it was that you had
"Yeah,
made the bed.
exactly. Yeah,
It was like,
the bed is
"That's
made, it's
complete.
over." Yeah, you can't go back to it.
Denied."
So that was funny,
Mhm.
but I really do feel good about looking at my bed being made pretty much
Mhm.
immediately, like, before I do anything else, and just that feeling of accomplishment was really good.
Yeah.
I wanna go back to us talking about the not opening up your phone first thing in the morning,
Mhm.
because she used this very good example that, like, was a perfect visual for anyone. She said
Okay.
she said, "You wouldn't invite, like, hundreds of people in your bedroom in the morning. And if you open your social media first thing, or even if you open your email, like, there's
That's the
hundreds of people in
equivalent.
there." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like literally inviting those people
Ugh.
into your bedroom,
No,
into your
thank you.
sacred space. And I was like, "Oof, that's, like, just such a good frame," because, like, I felt
Mhm.
that definitely would not want anyone in my bedroom in the morning, so why
Yeah.
am I opening up my
Sometimes
phone?
I don't even want Will in the bedroom in the morning. I just wanna be able to, like, chill, but
Right,
I, like, happen
yeah.
to love him, and so I'm like, "Okay, you can be here," you know?
Exactly. So,
Yeah, that was a good
if
one.
that helps anyone keep that visual in your mind, like, do you wanna be inviting people into your sacred space?
Mhm.
Which also opens up the conversation of, like, when do I want to be on my phone in my room, or do I ever wanna be on my phone in my room?
So this was a recent like rule that Will and I not rule, rule seems weird, an agreement that Will and I came to is that if we are on our phones while we're in bed together, that we're not doing work things on our phones because for those of you listening in, like if you make your profession and your living online using social media on your phone and your spouse doesn't, your partner doesn't, one thing that Will has communicated to me is that it's very hard to understand when I'm working and when I'm not working when I'm on my
Mhm,
phone. So we made the rule no checking emails. And for me, no checking Slack. So if he sees email or Slack open on my phone on times when I slip, he'll be like, sacred space. I'm like, shit. I'm like, you're right.
mhm,
Thank you. And I'll
mhm.
close it and put it away. So yeah, that analogy really helped me. We came to that agreement. The other thing too that I have found really helpful is to put my phone on do not disturb. And for those of you watching or listening who have children or stepchildren like I do, add them to your favorites list. Like Candace, you're on my favorites list. So if you call twice, it goes through whether or not I'm on Do Not Disturb. My mom, my dad, my brother, Will, my stepdaughter, so it's like you can
Yep,
put a boundary in place, but still have your peace and still have the people who need to get a hold of you, like heaven forbid, you know?
that is such a helpful tip for people, and I think you should absolutely use that often.
I leave it on it's on Do Not Disturb right now. Not just because we're recording, because I'm just like, this is like my favorite setting. I'm just like,
Yeah,
nope,
so good.
goodbye. Yeah.
Okay, so we have not checked our phone, we got up when the alarm rings,
Uh,
and then made our bed.
yes.
After that, this is where maybe the weirdness might come in for some people,
I giggled when
but
I did this.
you brush your teeth,
Hmm.
you look in the mirror, and then you set an intention aloud and high five yourself in the mirror.
That's when I
So,
giggled.
yeah, set an intention for the day, look at yourself, give yourself a high five. It's also just continuing that cadence of you kind of being successful. You've made your bed, you've
Hmm.
accomplished something, you've determined what you want to accomplish that day, you set your intention for that day, you've given yourself a high five. Usually that is congratulatory, that's like you're already winning. And so you're just setting the tone for yourself for the entire day. And these things sound so silly. And I know a lot of our clients, Kat, are like, teach us like the magic thing, the secret. What is the
The
secret?
script, the
The
template, the
script. Yeah, exactly.
tactic.
What is the thing that's going to set me apart? And when I think about all of the successful people that I listen to online, whether I'm talking about Mel Robbins or Lewis Howes or Oprah or any person that you think like has made it in some way,
Hmm.
they all tell you visualization. Like they said it before they knew it to be true. They
Right.
wrote it down. They visualized it. They talked about it. Like That is the key. You want it to be something more challenging than that. You
It's
want it
really
to be
simple.
something, yeah, and it's not, and you wanna think that maybe you're just born different or special, and I think we're all born special,
Yeah.
but it's not outside of you. The thing that you
Mhm.
want is inside of you, and you have to start talking about it and practicing visualizing it before it becomes true. And so when I was listening to her say this, I'm just like, just another person telling you that it's about visualization, and people probably being like, roll my eyes, that's silly.
Mhm. I
But it's not.
It's not. And I'll say this, open invitation. Try it. If it doesn't work, then come and tell us. Do
Right.
not knock it before you've tried it. Like, for anyone watching or listening, if you played sports as a kid, if you looked up to athletes as a kid, like I looked up to the three that come to mind immediately that were like just role models for me were Michael Jordan, Barry Bonds, and Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, not because of his golf prowess, because I could not play golf, but just his focus and his ability to perform under pressure. And same thing with MJ, same thing with Barry Bonds, and all of the coaches that they worked with. It's all visualization. Like, yes, they
Mhm.
have it, they're resilient, they're disciplined, they practice. But I think people need to start looking at themselves not just like business people or salespeople or entrepreneurs, but you're athletes
Yeah.
and your sport looks different, but you're still an athlete, right?
My favorite clients to work with in our space and our brand space are always
Yeah.
athletes, and it's because they already have the foundational pieces of they know how to develop a mindset, they have grit, they have resilience,
Grit. I
and
love that
those
word.
types of things are what make you successful. They have discipline, and they understand that even on days when they don't necessarily feel like doing something, like
Hmm.
I made a commitment that I was gonna write an article today. I did not feel like writing an article today, but I knew that that is in alignment with my goal of developing my thought leadership.
Hmm.
And so I wrote the damn article, right?
And how did
And
you feel once it was done?
great. I was like, this is good. I read it. I
Girl,
was like,
you were
this is
good.
good. This
Yeah.
is going to help someone. And
Yes.
I was excited about it once I was done. But in that moment, I didn't feel like it. I thought about, I could just do it tomorrow.
You just
But
like move the
yeah,
due date. Just, it's
right.
so too easy to
Yeah.
do that.
Too easy. But when I think about the people who have accomplished the types of things that I want to accomplish, they're disciplined. And even if they don't feel like it, they're showing up.
Hmm. I
Okay.
love it. All
Okay.
right.
So
Rule
you've done
four.
the awkward high five, you've set an intention for the day.
You've done the giggle. Oh, before we move on to rule four,
Yeah.
I want to just give an example for an intention. So,
Yes.
one thing that Mel Robbins' morning routine didn't cover that is a part of my morning routine is I determine what my done list is for the day. So,
Hmm.
not my to do list, but my done list. The maximum three things that I commit to getting done that day. And once they're done, my day is done. And if I get anything else done on top of that, that's gravy. That's the cherry on top. But so one intention that you could set at the beginning of the day is one thing on that done list. I intend to complete X. I intend to write this article. I intend to insert your done list item. So that's just like a tangible example that somebody could use. Highly recommend doing a done list versus a to-do list because a to-do list never ends. The tabs stay open. You think about it up at night. You don't go to sleep. You wake up early, immediately in conflict thinking, and then
Yeah.
just
It's
don't
a
do it.
lot.
It's a lot.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Kat. I think that's
Mhm.
so great. And I love that you have a 3 item limit on that list because
Yeah.
that I think can get out of control real quick.
Mm.
Okay, the next thing is move your mind and or body for 10 minutes. So some examples that she gave were things like take a walk, journal, you can write down affirmations. You can even read something that is going to put your mindset in the right place. So for 10 minutes, you are dedicating time to your own development, and
Mhm.
the mind and body are both important in this.
Yeah. And I think, people will think, oh, 10 minutes, what impact could that have? But let me tell you, when you are fully present and focused and not distracted, you can make 10 minutes feel like an hour if
Mhm.
you really get into it. And so if you have a dog, that enjoys walking. Mine doesn't always because she thinks she's a cat, but I love taking Piper for a morning walk. I know you love walking Sugar, so like that's a
Yep.
great reason to get out of the apartment before I even open up any screen. And, I'm lucky to live in a place with great weather. So, like, I'll have, the sun on my face and just get out and moving. I also love doing a brain dump if I'm feeling more of like a journaly type morning,
Mhm.
just free writing, whatever comes up in my head and just getting that clutter out of my head and onto paper. That's also been helpful.
When I've been taking in different people's morning routines, one of the things that I see over and over again is getting sunlight in the morning is so crucial. So if
Hmm.
you're able to step outside, and even if you're journaling outside or you have your cup of coffee outside, you take a walk, like getting that sunshine is so crucial to kind of just waking you up and letting your body understand like we're in this new part of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really key. And sometimes, especially because I work from home, if I don't intentionally plan to take a walk that morning or intentionally plan to get out of the house, it could not happen. And I might not leave the house for the whole day. I might just be stuck
Yeah.
inside because I'm here talking to you and to all my clients on,
Changing lives,
yeah, on
but all
FaceTime,
over
on
Zoom.
Zoom. Yeah.
Hmm.
So if you're working from home, like be intentional. And what I've started to do is actually make sure that I go outside. So even at lunch, I'll step outside. Even if I'm just take my dog out to the yard for a minute, I'll just do that.
Hmm.
So I can get some sunlight.
Yeah. It's, again, minimal, but your body is the engine. You take care of the body, everything else will fall into place. That's really been a takeaway for me.
And there's simple things that you can do if you are like, okay, maybe you are in a place where the weather is not great and you can't step outside. Put on a 10-minute yoga video and do some
On
yoga
YouTube
or
for
like, yeah,
free.
on
Yeah.
YouTube, stretching, like you could do any of those types of
Ooh,
things.
stretching
And
is
what I love
good.
about YouTube is like you can literally say 7-minute stretch routine, 10 minutes, and little something will come up to the exact right amount of time that you need and you
So
can do it.
good.
So I love that. Okay, the last one. Rule
Hmm.
number 5 from Mel Robbins' morning routine is take 5 minutes to make small progress on something that's important to you. And it
Mm.
doesn't even have to be getting everything done because
Hmm.
that's never going to happen. But what is that thing that you want that matters most to you? And what can you do in 5 minutes to get yourself closer to that?
I would say that this is separate from your daily done list and probably
Yes.
maybe something more like a monthly goal or even just a personal goal, you
Hmm.
know? Like if you are planning to make over or renovate a room in your home, right? What's one thing that you could do for 5 minutes? Like picking out a paint color or putting together a mood board on Pinterest, like something like that, that is just a bit of like brainstorming and creative time. I feel like that. And also, I'm always a work in progress to delete the word perfection from my mental, physical, emotional vocabulary. So I love that Mel Robbins had this rule 5.
Yeah. I think that it's just a good reminder that not everything that matters to everyone else, it has to you still have to focus on things that matter to you,
Yeah.
whatever that is. And so I think it's really important to note what that is that will make you feel good.
Hmm. And I'm wondering because I have a lot of friends who are parents. They're new parents, some are expecting parents, and they've often shared with me how, oh, the schedules are completely dependent on their kids, or, must be nice you just have your dog and your cat, or that works for you, but I can't see how it could work for me. And, I think about that with how lucky I am with being able to build my schedule the way that I have. And I would say, again, going back to the progress over perfection, these are 5 rules we've shared. Even if you just do one of the 5, that's better and more useful than doing 0 of the 5.
Mhm.
So that would be my thought. Of course, I'm sure I'll be severely humbled when I have my own kid, but I don't know, Candace, what would you say to those folks that maybe have those concerns?
I would say that focusing on you and I think focusing on you is ultimately going to help you to have a better relationship with your family, with your children. When I
Yeah.
think about my mom, like my mom was a working mom and I knew when she was going to be available or not available.
Yeah.
And like watching her helped me to learn how to create boundaries that are good for her and work, but also like benefited me as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I just think that because I'm not a parent, I think it's like easy for me to say that I
Mhm.
think your kids look up to you and respect you. And when you create healthy boundaries of like, hey, this is 5 minutes that I'm going to do this, and here's what you can do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I'm sure there's different ages and all the things that people are going to
Right.
say, but just do the best you can. And I
Mhm.
think that's it. I think my mom always just did the best she could, but I knew that she cared to take care of herself. Like I knew that she had her own goals and ambitions outside of the family that we would be proud of her for and we wanted to cheer her on for. And so um I don't know. I think do what you can. Don't feel guilty about the things that you can't do and that's it, right?
I mean, I that's a good example. I didn't think about reframing it to like watching my own parents growing up, and like you said, kids don't do what you say, they do what you do, you know?
Right.
So if you are doing and leading by example,
Yeah, I saw
it'll
this cute little video the other day where it
what?
was
Oh
like
man, of course he did.
so there's like a dad doing push-ups in his room and there's like a 1-year-old like trying to do push-ups and it was just like
Oh,
so cute because it's one of those things like he could be like, "Oh, gotta, do
take care of
this.
the
I don't have
baby.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
Right.
time to do this," right? But he's making time and then instead of the kid I don't know,
Being
going crazy.
upset or
He's like,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's just like trying to be like his dad and doing
Right.
push-ups next to him.
With his little
And
jelly
so it
bones.
really is like, what are the habits and routines that you are demonstrating to your kid? Because that's the
Mm,
thing that is going to impact them. Like I knew that my dad read the Bible every day, and every day we had to leave dad alone because he's reading the
that was his
Bible. And like we
time.
just knew that was his time. Like it wasn't even a thing.
Mhm.
Um, and like I think stuff like that is really helpful for kids to watch and see and learn and understand why it's important to them. And like I
Yeah.
carry that with me even now. Like I'm 40 years old.
Yeah. I still don't believe that, by the way. I'm gonna have to card you next time I see you in person. And this goes for you if you have employees, if you have team members, if you have vendors that you work like it goes for anybody who you feel depends on you. Like
Yeah.
get your shit
That's a
straight
reason to
first.
also not open your phone in first thing in the morning
Yeah.
because I start work later because I'm
Hmm.
on Pacific time
Yeah.
than a lot of my colleagues and my team. And so the minute I wake up, there's 17 messages ready for me about like all the things that's going wrong.
Right.
And and if I start my day by opening my phone when I'm not yet ready, I haven't done anything for myself, and I just
Oh.
go straight to all of the messages of what's already happened that day,
Hmm. You
I'm
immediately feel
stressed. I'm
behind.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I feel behind. I
Yeah.
absolutely do. So instead, I just know that I'm going to get to my desk when I start work at 10 o'clock, because that's when I
Yeah.
start work.
Hell yeah.
And then I'm going to answer them then. And it's fine. And
Easy.
then I tell my team that. I'll get
Yeah.
to it when I get to my desk at 10.
Yeah. I know. And I always, you know, I do my best to be mindful of that with you. So I'm 3 hours ahead of Candace, like on Eastern time, and Candace is on Pacific right now. Who knows what it'll be a year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But I always try to, knowing that you don't start work until 10, like if I do text you before then, I'll be like, good morning, sunshine emoji. Or it won't be like a problem, it'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, check this out. Or, oh, isn't it so cool that we interview reality TV stars now on our podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if it's a thing, I'll wait till like noon or 1 o'clock my time. Cause then I know like it's not like the first thing,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Especially now that I don't check my phone until later,
ever.
much
No,
later.
kidding. Yeah, much later. All right. Quick recap Mel Robbins' morning routine, the 5 rules. 1, get up when the alarm rings. 2, make your bed or your half of the bed if you have a night creature as a spouse. 3, after brushing your teeth, look in the mirror, set an intention out loud, and giggle as you high five yourself. 4, move your body and your mind for 10 minutes. 5, take 5 minutes to make progress on a bigger project, a bigger thing that's really important to you.
And that's it. Let us know how it goes. If you enjoy this episode, send it to a friend who needs to hear this, and don't forget to leave us a 5-star review.